Hi everyone, in today's video I'm going to show you ideas for probably next year for me for Operation Christmas Child shoeboxes, things that I would like to include more of next year, things that I'm going to continue including, and things that I'm going to include less of next year. Now for some of you this might help you for this year, but for me, my shoeboxes are pretty much packed, so I'm going to take these ideas and start shopping for next year. If you are new to my channel, welcome. My name's Katie. If you are not new, welcome back. Click the subscribe button if you haven't already. So I'm going to start off with showing things that I'm going to include more of next year. My first item is going to be a water bottle. Now, specifically this water bottle, I need to go buy more because I like that it fits the short way in the shoeboxes, and you can fit so many things inside of the water bottle. And then not only do they have a water bottle, they have all this stuff in it, and it's a good way to separate things and like save space kind of in a shoebox. Now, as far as the water bottle itself, I think it's important for kids to have access to water. Water is good for you. What can I say? Another thing I'd like to include more of next year is shoes. These are navy blue, but specifically black shoes, and I am looking for some good quality black shoes that are on sale, not just like the regular Walmart ones. I might grab a few pairs of those, but I'm looking for a quality pair that happen to be on sale. Like these shoes were $15 and I got them for $4 or something. Now they are a water shoe type of material, which I think is perfectly fine. And the soles are nice and sturdy. With the water shoes, it means if they have to walk through water or something to get to school, it's gonna bother them a lot less than if they're wearing a regular shoe that gets wet and it doesn't really dry. The reason I say specifically black is because I have started to do some research on school uniforms around the world, and a lot of countries do require uniforms for public schools. In the United States, we don't require those things, but sometimes not being able to afford the school uniform is prohibitive to parents. So if a kid can get a pair of black shoes, that would help the parents out with not having to buy them, and then they would also be able to have that pair of shoes for school. Black is the most common color of school shoe requirement that I've seen when I've looked up a bunch of countries, so that's why I say black shoes. Going along that same theme, researching school uniform requirements, a lot of them require a collared shirt. Now the most common color is white, but dark blue is also a semi-common color. So I'm hoping that my shoeboxes go to countries where white is the required color. And I think that this could be something that's super important. I know it's not like the most exciting thing to get a plain white shirt, but it could definitely be useful, and who knows, maybe it could be exciting. But I think school uniform pieces could be important. The other thing is khaki shorts are a very common across all countries school uniform requirement. So if you're looking to get more of those, useful type of things, but also, clothing can be a wow item as well. That would be somewhere to look. And then something else that I'm going to include more of is soccer balls or tennis balls, actually specifically soccer balls, because a soccer ball with a pump and the needles is an incredibly universal toy. I guess most people call it footballs, but us Americans call it soccer balls. It is an incredible universal toy. All kids in like almost every country will know what this is. Kids enjoy kicking things around, like even if they kick around rocks, like I kicked around rocks as a kid. Now they can have a soccer ball to play with, and I think it's one of the most universal wow items that there can be. Things that I will continue including for next year or in all future boxes is a sturdy carrying bag. Now this can be important for families when they go shopping. It can be important for kids to carry things to school. And I think it is important to have a nice sturdy bag. Now this one came from Amazon, nice and folded up. I'm not going to unfold it, but I have used these before. Like they can hold like multiple full water bottles. So that's how I know that it's like super sturdy and good quality. You don't want to give them a bag that's just going to like rip after they use it a couple times. Underwear, I am going to keep including. I think, again, it's super important. And I actually haven't mentioned this before, but especially for older girls, I mean, well, I've mentioned the pads, reusable pads before, but another reason why I think these are important, just beyond all the other reasons I've stated before, is that apparently in a lot of underserved countries, especially older girls and women who don't have access to menstrual products, they get a lot of infections because they don't have access to, you know, the proper supplies and cleaning supplies. So underwear is definitely important, nice clean pair or two, and then reusable pad. And I do put underwear in my boys' shoe boxes too, but it is especially important for girls and women. A bar of soap I've mentioned in previous videos, especially my video where I talk about 5 favorite things for shoe boxes that I included this year. So important. And I think COVID even kind of brought this issue to light a lot more this year. So many diseases can be prevented by families learning how to wash their hands properly, and it's something that we so take for granted. But having access to a bar of soap and learning how to actually wash your hands properly prevents literally so many diseases. School supply kit, I will always include. Talked about this on that same video I mentioned before. I just think access to an education is the best way to help children move beyond their current circumstances, at least better themselves. Knowledge can literally never hurt. And a good quality doll or stuffed animal I think is important. You don't want to give them a doll or stuffed animal that's gonna break after they play with it a couple times. You also want to be mindful of not creating a lot of plastic waste. So if they get a cheap Barbie doll that's going to break after 2 tries, now it's just going to become trash. And they might be a little bit sad that they don't have their toy. So something that's good quality for a doll and or a stuffed animal, I think is important for almost every shoebox. And I can't emphasize the quality enough. Things that I will not be including as much of. Now, there is no right or wrong answer as to what should or shouldn't be included in shoeboxes. But there are things that I personally am willing to remove from my shoe boxes in order to include, you know, the shoes and the soccer ball and the shirt and some of those important things. One of the things that I'm willing to not include anymore is a Play-Doh. Especially because, I mean, so Play-Doh, there's some pluses and minuses to this. Play-Doh can dry out, so that's, you know, kind of disappointing. But I guess they can also take this plastic container and use it for something else in the future, so that is kind of a plus. But also imagine you have never seen Play-Doh in your life. You literally don't know what to do with this. And I mean, you might find a little bit of enjoyment, but I think it's Play-Doh might be a very cultural thing where they're just not going to use it the way we are. Another thing that I am not going to really be including is crayons, just because I include an entire pack of colored pencils in my boxes with my school supply kit, and I just think that colored pencils are better. And they can use them to color, they can use them to write. There's so many more colors. Yes, I guess you can include a nice big pack of crayons, but I don't know, they can melt, they can break easily. At least the colored pencils, you can sharpen them, they can last a while. And so crayons are just something that I'm not really going to be including. And then things like yo-yos or other cheapish plastic toys. Now I do intend on continuing to include a whistle or some of those other plastic toys. But as far as a yo-yo, again, imagine you have never seen a yo-yo in your life. That's what you're going to do with it. And kids, you know, I mean, they might be able to figure it out, but again, I think a yo-yo is kind of a cultural toy where they're not going to use it the same way we are. They might like to play with it. They might eventually learn yo-yo, but I think the space can be better used with, you know, some of the other things I've mentioned, like maybe an extra bar of soap instead of a yo-yo. So you just have to try to remember that the countries have different cultures. They may not always go to English-speaking countries. A lot of these toys might go to countries where kids have never seen this type of toy before. So when you're packing your shoebox, just kind of ask yourself, if you had never seen that toy, would you know what to do with it? So, for example, one of the things that I really enjoyed as a kid was playing jacks, where you drop a marble and you pick up like as many jacks as you can pick up. But I looked at just like a plain package of it, and you want to be careful. If the only directions are in English, they might not be able to read them, and they're just gonna get like a bag of like marbles in these things and not know what to do with it. So yes, I mean, people can explain when they're distributing the shoe boxes about how, you know, to play certain games, but they might not have time to explain to every child, and every child might not be able to remember or explain it again in the future. So just try to, when you're packing toys like that, try to think about if you would be able to figure out how to play with it if you didn't speak English and you had never seen that toy before in your entire life. So that kind of concludes my more, same, and less than video. So I hope that was helpful. Let me know if you feel you would include more or less of any of these items. And I hope that was helpful, and I hope you enjoyed.